So what we're looking at here is the Permaponics system at Rak Tamachat in Thailand. This system was made by Bo and Tim that live here. It's an awesome system because it basically uses a lot less water than like watering in the ground for a normal traditional gardening. Normally when you water in the ground absorbs the water and it disappears everywhere. But here we hold on to the water and recycle it. So it's quite good for me in Portugal, where we'll be pumping water using electricity from a well. So the idea is to save water. And also here you can control the nutrient cycle. So you can quite easily and automatically add different nutrients and minerals into the system to get the maximum amount of vitamins, nutrients and minerals in the plants. A lot of the traditional farming, that they will have a lot of pesticides and everything which kills the microorganisms, and it's the microorganisms that help to bring the nutrients into the plants. And they might add some fertilizer but won't have the whole array of different nutrients we need. So with this system we can control the nutrients. So what essentially happens is the water gets into this system, it's pumped from a pond, from a lake, which is full of fish and it has nutrients. It comes into here, it sprinkles, fills up this bed full of water, and in the water are bags with soil where the plants grow. And at the bottom of the bags are like pebbles to keep the root off the water. And this will this will empty and then feed into the nursery over there, and then it will keep refilling and spraying all the plants with the water. Underneath is worm compost system, which automatically creates worm tea, which gets pumped into it, and then there's a compost tea and other natural fertilizers that are made under here, which pump into the system. So I'll just take you around and show you each. So basically what we have is a system here where the plants are growing the food in water, but they're in soil. So I'll show you that in more detail. You've got each pot is like a plastic bag that water will go through. So inside the plastic bag the soil sits on stones. So the water, which is on the outside here, doesn't actually touch the roots. It goes through the stones and then the bag seeps up the water. This is Tim harvesting his lunch.
Lettuce. Our lunch. Everybody's going to have some lettuce.
So the water comes through from a lake full of fish, so it's full of nutrients, and it comes into here and then sprays all the way around into the plants. And also water comes straight into the tank here. So the water comes in automatically when the level gets low, and what they have here is the same water system connected into this bucket, so that the level of the water can be identified in this bucket. So they have like a ball switch in here, which when it gets low it will turn on the sprinkler, and the sprinklers go on here and then water all the plants, and it will turn off when it gets full. But also they have water draining out of here into their nursery, and that reuses this nutrient water and to stop it from getting stagnant. So that's why it needs to be filled about 3 times a day. And when the sprinkler system comes on, it also waters all of these worm bins underneath. And it also waters the plants here, and the water overflows from these boxes as well as all the water that comes out of the worm bin into another bin in the ground. And then when this gets full from another ball switch, is it called a ball switch, Tim? Is this switch called a ball switch?
It's a float valve.
Float valve switch. So that then turns
double float.
That then turns it on, and then the worm tea comes into here to give it more nutrients on top of the nutrients from the fish pond. And then what they do is they add different types of rock dust into the worm worms for the worms to eat, which gets the minerals into a liquid form, so the liquid form can go into the water and then be sucked up into the plants. And then down here is another container which they make other types of fertilizers. So they make like compost teas, weed teas and other fermented compost to add microorganisms, minerals, nutrients to the plants. And then this water will drip into the system to give it more nutrients. So it's pretty cool. And then over here they're growing various water-based plants. Each one's different, and all the plants fix nitrogen, and they take the nitrogen from here and they put it into the wormery to get nitrogen into the system. But they're also going to get pipes coming out of all of these to collect the water and then pump that into the system here to get even more different nutrients into it. So he's continuously adding more and more automated fertilizer into the system. And also at the bottom of these he adds compost, which ferments in the water and creates really good quality compost with lots of microorganisms which can go into the Permaponics. He's got this next to his one of his new food forests, which is establishing. Overall, this system uses less water. The nutrient cycle can be controlled, and the water can be reused, and it's automatic. And also it's at a level which you can reach without having to bend down, and like traditional gardening. So this is definitely something we'll copy in Portugal, but we're more likely to put this inside a greenhouse.
Local fabric place, wherever that may be. And you cut one piece and you'll see there's one seam here, and then just a square sewn in.
Yep.
Pretty
And
simple.
your mother-in-law has a sewing machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my mother-in-law was kind enough to sew this. So next trick, okay, I've got these bags and I get them to about this height. I like to roll the top down, okay, to make it a little stiffer on top and adjust the height. In this particular thing, if you wanted a plant that didn't like as much water, you could make the bags taller. If you had something that liked more water, you could make them shorter. You also want to have enough soil that there's enough nutrients mixed in the soil that I could actually grow, and I'm putting back nutrients through our cycling system. But I want to be sure that I could grow 3 or 4 times. I may then actually, if I'm seeing the yield go down, take out the soil, recondition it with more compost, put it back in. So remember, soil is structure and food. So that's all I need to do. So now that I got this, I got my little bag.
So now, Tim was saying that some of these are those shopping bags.
You could use
Is
shopping
that
bags.
same?
Yeah, supposedly they make those so that we'll have less shopping bags, and then somehow we end up with 20 or 30 of those at home. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, because he never remembered to take them shopping. You have to buy
Yeah,
another one.
so pretty simple, just rocks. Okay. I like to put this thing down. It doesn't probably make that much difference. Okay, so now, as we see, there's like 2 inches of water that's held in there. That 2 inches of water is really just interacting with the rocks and flowing through. So what's going to happen is those rocks over time are going to get microorganisms, the affected microorganisms are going to live on the surface of the rocks. If you had perlite and things like that had more surface area, they'd be more microorganisms. That's expensive and we can't really get it here. So we just use the locally available limestone. Probably less surface area, but okay for us. And remember, we have the soil, and the soil's a lot of surface area. So in comparison to the perlite, this is all surface area. So you have compost, biochar, some extra clay for structure, and the clay holds moisture very well. And so it's going to be hold moisture and drain well. So we want to try to find that balance to where when the water goes in here, it'll go down, but it also will come up and it stays at a consistent moisture level. Not too wet, not too dry.
So we're now filling up some of these permaponics bags to fill the gap in the middle.